Me? Why me? Can I get that plain? No sauce, condiments, vegetation, or foliage? If you've ever uttered those words, this might be the cookbook for you. My name is Matthew Broberg-Moffitt, and I'm autistic and food-averse. I'm also a classically trained chef. Now, that may sound counterintuitive, and in fact, it is. I'm a classically trained chef who has never worked in the food industry because some food is just gross. I don't mean gross as a value statement toward the food itself or toward the people who eat the stuff I don't. Having aversions has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. There have been changes over the years with some foods entering the safe list in a slow, almost glacial manner. I have a son who also has food aversions. His are different from my own. And sometimes I must take a step back and say, it's okay that he doesn't like watermelon. He doesn't like strawberries or most berries. It's okay. Likewise, your aversions will not be judged. This is a safe place. Even if I don't share your preference, it will be honored and respected. Perhaps most important, this cookbook isn't going to try to sneak in food that you absolutely don't want to eat. Instead, it's all about working within your parameters or those of the food-averse person you're cooking for. For example, if your kid or loved one doesn't like the taste or smell of onions, then stop putting onions in their food. But if they don't like the texture of onions, we can work with that. I will show you how to prepare onions so that their texture is palatable. If your kid only eats chicken fingers and mashed potatoes and absolutely refuses anything else, make them the best chicken fingers and mashed potatoes. If they are getting adequate nutrition and calories, this cookbook isn't going to try to force anything else on them. I can't tell you how many times I sat at a kitchen table as a child, long after everyone else had finished, and a well-meaning adult wouldn't let me leave until I cleaned my plate. It was always a deeply embarrassing and uncomfortable experience. I've always liked to follow rules, and to consistently disappoint adults when it came to food was traumatic. I wasn't diagnosed with autism until I was an adult, and while I'd like to think that it would have made a difference, in this instance, I believe the results would have been the same. After all, there wasn't much by way of acceptance of food aversion. There still isn't. The market and internet advice space are replete with ways to trick picky eaters instead. It's my hope that radical, enthusiastic acceptance of food aversion will help reframe these experiences and change social attitudes in a positive and meaningful way. If one kid can have a less traumatic childhood because of this, I'll be a truly happy camper. Glossary. There are a lot of terms that get bandied about in cooking, and it can sometimes be easy for me to forget that not everyone knows them. It doesn't help that they are frequently not in English, and even when they are in seeming layperson's tongue, they aren't always self-explanatory. To help facilitate your understanding, I've created a glossary. Dice. To cut into quarter-inch cubes using a sharp kitchen knife. Mince. To cut into an even smaller size than to dice. Crush. To smush, aggressively, often with the back of a knife on a cutting board. Sweat. To cook over low heat, often and aromatic, so that the moisture is released. The final product will often be translucent and slightly crunchy. Steam. To heat indirectly utilizing a moist medium. When cooking aromatics in a pan, where the heat is low and the pan is overcrowded, you often steam as a result, as the sweat produced by the cooking of the vegetables then evaporates and cooks the aromatics beside them. Steaming varies from sweating, in that the end product is more homogeneous in texture and softer in consistency.